Hello there, Matthew Miller on the Eco Livery blog, and it's also the 2nd of July 2019, and yeah, I hope you people are having a good day, but unfortunately for Ireland, then it is in Breitbart. Climate emergency, Ireland set to ban private cars while planning third world migration. So they want to ban cars, but they want to bring in all the people from third world nation, and which it's not going to actually help Ireland at all. And yet, the banning of cars is all part of Agenda 21, and they want us to be off our lands into jam-packed cities. That's what it's all about. And without any further ado, let's read what they got to say in Breitbart. Drivers will be forced off the road in Ireland and the population packed in high-density city under the long-rated climate plan, which will revolutionise people's lifestyle and behaviour, according to the local media. Yep, there I said it. They want you in those jam-packed cities off. They want you to remove. They want to remove you off your land and put you into jam-packed cities, which I call it city gulags, because that's what it's going to be, because you won't be allowed to leave the cities and that though. It is sort of like something out of the Hunger Games, because like when you're in districts and that, you weren't allowed to like leave it or something. If you haven't watched the movie or so, because it does take a glimpse of what Agenda 21 is all about and that as well. And well, I'm going to actually move on as well. They want to nudge policies as huge tax hikes, as well as ban and red tape outlined that in the plan will pave the way into a vulnerable island of zero carbon emissions by 2050, and the governments which last year boosted the country's 4.7 million strong population by further with mass migration. So yet people, they don't encourage like Caucasian people to have more children, but they actually encourage like all those non-white people to have more children. But in order to avert our climate apocalypse, the government planned to force people out of private cars because they are the bigger offender for emissions, according to the Transport Minister Shane Walsh, which includes banning fossil fuel vehicles from towns and cities and nationwide to pose. Sometimes I'm not always good with people, but on motorists, local media reports. So they want to actually remove people from their cars. And yet, despite the fuel tax as well, and we also got a government that's trying to bring up the fuel tax here in New Zealand. Yeah, here in New Zealand. I wish I'll get that. Wish I'll get to it soon enough, and there's also, it says in the Agenda 21 News.com, Al Gore wants to ban cars in cities. Yeah, he said it like 4 years ago. That's in the freedomdomainpost.com. And yet Al Gore wants to ban cars, and he's the one who's been preaching all the global warming alarmism, and he still like lives over in that mansion near the coast, and he's telling people that sea level is rising, and he still lives in like near the coast. Yeah, near the coast, lowlands, and the ocean. Yeah, and he doesn't even believe what he's actually even preaching. Yeah. And of course, yeah, and there's one from France as well, and this one's from July 6th, 2017, that's 2 years ago, and France set to ban sort of petrol and diesel cars by 2040. Yeah. Yeah, and they're like banning cars as well, and Ireland's not the only one that wants to ban cars. France and also in California as well. And yeah, there it goes. California lawmaker wants to ban gas car sales after 2040. Yeah, France 2040 they want to ban cars. California 2040 they want to ban cars. Yeah, because they don't want you to be able to move about. Yeah, they want you in those jam-packed cities. And yeah, I'm not against cities or anything though, but when people are forced into it though, yeah, I am highly against it. Because it violates property rights and that as well, and once you're in those city gulags, you're going to be working like a slave or something as well, and get you to go along with their propaganda as well, and, well, and there's a Prime Minister that's going to be saying about fuel tax as well. Well, I'm going to listen to what she's got to say.
Petrol prices, you've blamed it on the high margins that the oil companies...
I've raised questions about the high margins, and I think rightly so.
They're putting the blame squarely back on this government. Who should the poor motorist believe?
Yeah, well, ultimately, I think we have to acknowledge that we are talking about motorists here who are really seeing an increase in prices, and I totally acknowledge that. When I was on my way in for this interview, the fuel station around the road from my home, 10 cents cheaper than what I saw down in Wellington yesterday. Now, how does that work through when, of course, Auckland has the regional fuel tax, Wellington does not? So I've had a look at the breakdown of the increase in costs. In 1 year, 39 cents higher. When in that time, about 6.8 cents has been about excise. The rest, some of it just cannot be explained. 19 cents in a short space of time just on the landed fuel price. So that's why we are changing the law to look more closely at what's happening with our fuel companies.
We'll get to that in a moment. Doesn't that make a nonsense of the idea of a regional fuel tax, though, when you can see that, I mean, petrol in Auckland should be more expensive, and yet it's more expensive in Wellington.
Yes.
So you might assume that the oil companies are offloading that, shifting that cost to Wellington. So it's a nonsense, isn't it?
Or it might be the case that in parts of the South Island and Wellington we see prices that cannot just be accounted for based on transport costs. And there is more competition in other parts of the North Island. And so, yes, there are questions rightly being raised that we think the Commerce Commission can help us answer and should help us answer. In 10 years, we have gone from being in a middling pack around the pre-tax fuel price in the OECD to being the highest pre-tax fuel price in the OECD. That's not right, and that has been a big change.
Yeah, they want to put more tax on petrol.
New though, is it? This recouping of profit through higher margins dates back to when Z Energy bought Shell. So, and then nothing's happened in the interim. Well, what can we practically do now?
Yeah, and yet in the last 10 years, we've seen a 10% increase in the importer margin. So something has changed significantly. Well, what we've never done before is allow the Commerce Commission to take a proper look at this. In 2017, they had a go. Not everyone cooperated. And their final report said, we cannot guarantee that consumers are paying a fair price. So we're changing the law so the Commerce Commission can undertake proper market studies. We'll do that in the next 2 weeks. And we hope by the beginning of next year we'll have a little bit more information about what's going on.
Can you explain to me what that means? Does that mean compulsion?
Yes.
You will compel the oil companies to open up their books. Does that prove that industry self-regulation just doesn't work?
Oh, well, look, obviously when it comes to even just the market study, well, what we attempted, or the last government attempted to do in 2017, it didn't work. I have had the question, well, what is it that can be done in the aftermath? Well, I've already seen a few options that do exist, but we need to make sure that we're targeting the right areas. Is it a competition issue? Is it access to terminals? Is it transparency around fuel prices? Let's narrow that down and then let's act.
Yeah, she wants to put more tax on the petrol price as well, yeah. They want to tax just same what France been doing. Here, what Macron mean? As soon as he raised the fuel price, there was unrest, and that's what sort of started the yellow vest movement as well. And yeah, and I'm gonna try to find that. France suspended fuel tax after weeks of unrest. That's back in December the 4th, 2018. And that's over in the Washington Post. And yeah, because there was unrest and that though. People weren't happy about it as well, which I don't blame them. And yet they want to, they want us into jam-packed cities. They want to ban cars and that as well, and to get us in jam-packed cities. And there's also, children being indoctrinated as well to go along with the agenda, be used as prawns as well. So this article from National News blog says that don't let school propagandize your kids. Yeah, dead right. That one's from National News blog and yes, and also been speaking about and there's one from the Amazing Pony, and she's been covering one accident covering as well, and sustainable development is a con job. Yes, it is. And yes, I'll have a link on there below so you can go and watch it on YouTube as well. Yes, she's got a lot to say as well, and she's also got another video about the truth about smart cities. Yeah, they want us in those cities, people. Yeah, so they want to, well, let's get to the indoctrination parts. And there's one from staff in New Zealand. Please, miss, can you teach us about climate change? Well, they're going to teach us that you are blamed for the climate change. And that you're breathing out CO2 and we are blamed for it. That's what they're going to teach those children for, and they're indoctrinating. So they're being used as prawns as well, and it's already going on as well. Yeah, because they're just going out schools, chanting and says that you're blamed for all that CO2. Yeah, they want to and have children involved, and there's one from and yes, there's that lady that's pushing for it as well. Victoria University Associate Professor Jenny, whatever his name is or something, has been calling for the climate change to be part of the curriculum for 2 years. So she's actually pushing for it as well, she's also going to be used as a pawn as well to push for climate change so they can push it on the children, indoctrinate them, get them to go along with their agenda, their elite agenda as well. They say, kids, don't let the climate grief stop you looking forward to the future. Don't let your climate grief. Well, you've been preaching and tells you that we are blamed for it. And all that climate apocalypse and that though. And we've got if that's really the case, it's time that we should get our children out of those public schools. If they're going to teach those stuff on our children. Make no worries about that. Make no mistakes about that. Make no mistake. It's going to be part of the curriculum, and if you're a parent and if you know that the teacher's teaching those climate stuff to your children, I'll say bring it out. Bring your children out of those schools, because, man, you do not want your children to be propagandized. And I'll bring it up again from an actual news blog. Don't let schools propagandize your kids. Especially, because they want to get them to watch the Al Gore's movie or Leo DiCaprio's movie or something to get them to go along with their elite's agenda as well, because do know that it has nothing to do with the environment. It's all about bringing in the one world government, one world religion or something, and that's all it's about. It has nothing about the environment and also bringing the depopulation agenda. So, people, well, I think I'm going to have to just leave it at that. And I also got comments as well. I've got two that I would like to go through as well. So, this blog's been a bit longer, I like to, because I actually end up watching what Jacinda Ardern's got to say about the fuel tax as well. Good grief. I don't know what they're all going on about as well. But it is going to be. I don't know what they're saying though. But, yep, she's there to push for Agenda 21 as well. And she doesn't even care about New Zealand. So, well, people, that's what I got to say. But I got to find my comments as well. Yep, the comments. And I also got one from Hero and Seymour. Heroes though. Well, he's from Australia. He says, "Thanks, mate. I'm glad you're getting the truth out here. I think we are heading into a solar minimum. I'm being unwell lately too, so I will look into elderberries. I'm in South Australia, and tonight I am getting down to 2 degrees Celsius where I am. Stay warm and healthy." Well, thank you for that, mate. And he's from Australia, and he's been unwell though, but that's been like just over a week. So, yeah, it's good that you do look into some elderberry. Well, if we are heading to a solar, it depends on the sun activity as well. And, well, let's go to the next comment. And this one's from Tim Lyle. "What language are you speaking? I think you're talking about global cooling." Yep, we are heading into global cooling. And if I was going to be asked that why, well, the sun is actually the main driver of climate change, and we do get a ton of warmth and cold throughout human history. And we are probably might be heading into a solar limit. It depends on the next. It depends on solar activity that will be occurring in solar 25. And yeah, well, Tim Walt, thank you for the question, and I'm happy to answer this on this video right now. It's been about 5 days ago since he asked me that question, so I just actually answered that as well. And so, people, and that's all I really got to say for now. Yes, people, they want to ban cars, they want us into those jam-packed cities, which you will never be allowed to leave as well. And also watch Amazing Ponies video, about Amazing Ponies video. Sustainable development is a con job, and she's also got another one that's also called The Truth About Smart City, which I haven't watched right now, which I probably will watch that as well when I get to have the time to do so as well. So, this is Matthew Miller signing off, over and out.